Ah,
Hi, everybody, and hi, my beautiful, precious sister, Corinne Mooney, Cosmic Sis-Star, all the
yes.
way from Arizona, and me from Stockholm, Sweden this time. And it's now it's dark outside. I think everybody can tell, right? So, welcome to the Cosmic Sis-Star Show with Corinne and Anne. And today we are diving deep into the sacred space of transformation, where old cycles dissolve and new paths emerge. This episode's Breaking Patterns, No More Repeat, is a soul call to those ready to rise beyond the familiar, to those who feel the stirrings of change and the whisper of their authentic self calling. Together, we will explore how to recognize the loops that keep us stuck, how to gently release what no longer serves us, and how to step boldly into the radiant unknown. That takes courage. This is not just a conversation, it's a cosmic activation. So grab your tea, your juice, your water, your coffee, whatever you have. Open your heart and join us as we illuminate the way forward. One insight, one shift, one breakthrough at a time. You're not alone. You're not behind. You are exactly where your soul chose to awaken. So let's begin.
Wow.
And today we have Wednesday, November 12th in US and Europe, and Thursday, November 13th in Australia, our future always. And as we said, we're going to talk about breaking patterns, no more repeats. You can find upcoming and past episodes at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming dash past. And you find all our series, which currently have two series, a lot of episodes. So at angelplaceonearth.com/series dash cosmic dash guardians. And our last show was last Wednesday, November 5th, and we talked about The Celestial Prophecy by James Redfield, a summary of all the 12 insights we have enjoyed this year. So we started May this year and have Corinne and I have been guiding you through a 12-part journey into the Celestial Prophecy by James Redfield. Each episodes have explored one of the 12 insights and how they show up in real life. And that is the important thing. Not only studying, but also um, in invoking it into our lives,
Hmm.
starting to live by it, right? And we wrapped up everything last Wednesday in the summary. And again, you can find our series at angelplaceonearth.com/series dash cosmic dash guardians slashes and dashes. And you can connect with us, find upcoming shows, past episodes, read articles, and you find a lot of links in there to connect with Corinne, to connect with myself. The easiest place to go is to angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. And there you can take yourself where you want to go. And I think that we're ready. How about diving deep into today's episode?
I'm ready. I got my goggles on and my shower cap, and I'm ready to dive. Yes. It's when we talk about patterns, it's like when we talk about balance. You don't just do it so hard that you eliminate everything that you've already accomplished. However, we need to make that change. Nature herself has a plan, a blueprint, and each season comes, but with a different pattern. And it follows a routine, but the season is completely changed and uniquely different. It doesn't have to completely recreate itself, but it changes the perspective and it brings in new and transformational visions of you as you emerge into your authentic self. And these patterns that keep us bound with the same ideas and the job, same relationships, the same way of expressing life are keeping us from exploring all the different facets that we may have in our life. And we seem to gravitate to a time that's familiar because it's comfortable and it allows us time to breathe. But it also surrounds us with indecision. And every decision that evades us makes us feel more and more afraid to take on a different pattern. And I'm sure that there are a lot of people who have experienced or seen the movie The Groundhog Day, how he wakes up and it's exactly the same day. So he goes out and he steps in the same hole. He runs into the same people. He has the same experiences each time and not very pleasant. And finally, he realizes that he needs to make a variation of those if anything's going to change. And the beauty is that the brilliant mind of Einstein simply stated, doing the same thing each time and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. Okay.
Yeah. You know, we can feel like we are repeating loops, because repeating patterns is like repeating loops, the
Yes.
same thing. So the call to break patterns is a sacred invitation. It doesn't always need to be huge things.
Right.
Sometimes it just requires us to think differently or become aware. Okay, this is what I think I know about something because this is where I come from. Because patterns are comfortable, like you said, right? They are familiar. They
Yes.
whisper to you, stay here, you know this. But comfort can become a cage. So we can sit in that loop or that cage, feeling that I want to change, but I don't really know how to do it, right?
Yes.
And it's kind of very human, because we come from the place where we think we know things, what we have been taught, what we have experienced, and that feels comfortable. So we try to manage life based on that. But in order for something to change for us, we need to make even baby steps,
Yes.
right? We
Yes.
don't need to jump and scream because that's going to feel very drastic.
Yes.
More like, trying to, if I'm this version of myself today, and I try to do things that I used to do 10 years ago, managing my life in that manner, it won't work for me
No.
because I'm a different version. And we do transform all the time, continuously, right? So we need to step outside of the circle or cycle we think we know.
Yes. And the subtleness, and first of all, to become aware that there is a pattern here that's constantly repeating itself. And one of the things that happened in my journey, um, I like peace, and I always try to find a peaceful solution. And a lot of times, I will find myself giving up myself in order to resolve that. And this one time, my situation had changed financially and everything else, and I was asked to do something that absolutely would not be good for me in any way, shape, or form. And I uttered these little words. Let me see if I can remember them. Um, no. and the expressions on these people's face, like, and literally out of their mouth came, well, that's not like you. And I realized that in that moment and in that one syllable, have two or one syllable, I don't know. But when I said no, I broke a pattern that I had been using forever and ever and ever. And something inside of me went, ah. And I physically went into the ladies' room and stood there going, yes, because I felt this absolute peace come over me that I had not complied to somebody else's wishes just to please them and fit in. And this is how your urgings will come. And all of a sudden you'll hear someone say, that's not like you. You used to be a kinder person. And I'm working with this beautiful, yes, I'm working with this beautiful emerging healer. And her culture has kept her down. And the fact that she is so incredibly powerful, the people around her want to keep her subdued by saying, well, you shouldn't do that right now. You're not ready for that, and everything else. So we were talking about just last night after meditation. And I said, when you start hearing things like, well, that's not like you. I remember when you were, you would always go along with this. That's when you go in and you celebrate because you have changed a pattern slightly. The next time it's going to be easier. And this is breaking cycles.
It is. And, you're going to see a range of different reactions from people around you, right?
Oh, yes.
But they are all a confirmation to you that you transformed something within you. And the beautiful thing is that I transformed I'm still kind because I refuse to change myself for everybody else's opinion. But I put boundaries, and that's different, right?
That is,
and
yes.
I had a lot of people telling me my entire life, well, you're too kind. You need to learn to say no. And when I started, some of those people, they said, well, I don't know what happened to you. You're not adaptable any longer. And I said, well, I am the same person, but I put up some boundaries and I know who I am, right?
Exactly.
So, awareness is the key. And we're not talking about, and we always say this, about having an attitude or thinking that we are better or less or whatever it is, right?
Correct.
And we are just talking about when you have come to that place when you feel comfortable doing it. So work on that part and don't be afraid of doing it. You're going to hear from people. And some people are going to be very supportive. Others are going to go against you.
Oh, yes.
And it may actually increase. So it may be like you dropped a bomb in their knee, right?
Correct. And as you begin this journey of self-realization, self-love, and seeking your own authentic expression, you will find synchronicities that lovingly guide us on this new and brilliant adventure. And as your self-love emerges, you kind of notice that you're not carrying around that same attitude of, I have to be liked, I have to fit in, I have to do this even though I don't feel like doing it. And we're not talking about doing things that are against what, you're not going to go out and break the law, but just protecting yourself and sticking with those boundaries. And with each time that you do that, it's like lifting weights. you get a little bit stronger, but you also become aware
Yes.
of the
And
pattern that sets you on that expression.
let's talk a little bit about awareness, because sometimes awareness can feel really confusing, right? So you've
Oh,
had a
yes.
bunch of people around you and they are reacting differently. So some of them may actually be on their worst side towards you because you change. You're not adapting to them any longer,
Right.
but you still show them love, right? That's the process. And like we said before, there's nothing we can do to change someone else. Nothing.
Correct.
So we can just be loving towards them, but also put some boundaries for
Yes.
ourselves. And awareness, that is, you notice when you are repeating something and you observe that without judging yourself, right?
Correct. Correct.
You need to have an intention. You need to declare that I'm ready to shift, right? So you allow yourself. You love that word, I know, allowing.
Yes.
And then it needs some action. So choose differently. Even one small change can have a ripple effect, right? And the beautiful thing is that when we change and we go in, I mean, change towards our authentic self, that gives ripple effects into our relationships. And sometimes there are people that are going to walk away, and there's nothing we can do about that either. But we need to think about, okay, are we really in alignment with each other?
Yes.
Maybe we served the time for each other and now we are splitting up, right?
Yes.
And so we're not going to end up being alone because of it. That's not why we're here, right?
What we are doing is we're giving an opportunity for the experience of being around other people that are also making their transition into, self-awareness. And yes, we may have certain things that we were always doing, or we always went every Friday night to this one place, or we always saw these particular friends, and we always went duck hunting. And the patterns that we weren't really, gee, I really want to do those things. And as we shift and we realize that those no longer fit, then we start saying, no, I would rather do this and I would rather do that. When we grow from an infant to an adult, we're constantly changing our shoes, our hairstyle, the clothes that we wear, what we put into our bodies. We're in constant change all the time. And yet, when it comes to relationships, or a behavior that we have accepted from someone for so long, we put all this guilt and shame and responsibility that what are we going to do when we do this? Well, that person has their journey also. And possibly by making our shift, we have given them the opportunity to make their shift. When my ex decided that we were going to get divorced, I mean, it was okay, traumatic. But I realized that he had given me the opportunity to be totally me. And we're great friends now. And I tell him when he goes into, well, I shoulda, coulda, and everything, I said, Jim, if you hadn't done what you did, I would never be able to be who I am now. So, not all relationships are going to end that way, but you're also giving that person an opportunity to maybe look at themselves. But that's not your job. Your job is just to see what you're doing and keep on your track.
Exactly. And I've because I talk to a lot of people, there are many who consider this painful, right? When friends kind of distance themselves, or partner wants to separate, or
Right.
you name it, or family members. But we are not obligated to be with anyone just because they are blood family, or we have been friends since we were babies, or and sometimes releasing each other can be an act of true love,
Exactly.
unconditional love, because I leave you to do your thing. And
Exactly.
what may appear on the surface, because it can look very nasty sometimes, right? But
Yes.
we are always participating. It doesn't mean we should accept bad behavior towards us, right? But we, as long as we respond to that behavior and we are still remaining in place, we are a player in that game, right? So
Yes.
we really think sometimes, yes, think, because we need our brain as well, along with all our other senses. Is this worth it for me? Um, and when we find that maybe I should actually, or just take a step back, observe, and let people do their thing, and then you can make your mind up what you want to do. Because even if it looks bad, you allow them to show themselves, right? It doesn't mean we judge them. That's totally different. But we
Exactly.
see from that point, we can make a new choice, because that's what it's all about. And
Yes.
if we talk about karma and things of that nature, for me, that is choices and consequences. Therefore, I'm standing in my power. I make new choices all the time, and not from fear, right? Because, okay, if I say no to, I have one friend in the world and I say no to that friend, but that friend, I don't feel that we are in alignment, or I feel mistreated, or whatever it is. So I stick there. That is fearful.
Yes.
That's not going to bring the change that you desire.
And it's interesting because when we're stuck in that obligatory situation where uh, what will they think, and the fear and the anxiety of what will I do if I'm alone, rather than what if I am opening a door to a brand new situation, and
Yes,
changing that, just changing that frame of mind, that when you're ready to make a shift, that it's not necessarily going to have all the negativity that you're putting into it, but rather it could be that the grass is greener on the other side of the street. I mean,
yeah,
it's and but not because you're just looking over there and thinking, well, they don't have my problems, because if you don't release your patterns, you open that gate to the other side, and you're taking your problems with you. So
yes,
when you learn to let go of the things that are not for your highest good, then you open the opportunity to be able to experience, but to become aware of all of the beauty that is sitting there, rather than going in with blinders and saying, well, this isn't like it was. Well, no, if you're expecting to be like it was, that's kind of like doing the same thing over and over. I mean, and expecting different results. I mean, you're changing
exactly.
to have different results. So enjoy the different results.
Yes, and afterwards, usually not when we are in a situation, right? But when we look back in the back mirror,
Yes.
usually we, at least I can say, okay, I can be grateful for that opportunity, because it brought me to this point. Because remember, we are all a sum of all our experiences
Mhm.
that led up to this point right now, in the now. right?
Yes, exactly.
So even someone who treated you in a nasty way, you can feel grateful for it because that you woke up. It's not the same as accepting a bad behavior, but it's seeing it for what it is, and that you stepped up and you said no. And something else, when we are in resistance of breaking patterns, each at the same time as we are sending out some intentions that I'm willing to make changes, each time we are encountering something from the same different package but the same issue inside, right? It's
Right.
going to feel worse. It's not a punishment. It is the universe's and the cosmos way of trying to catch your attention. You're doing it again. So you can't expect the world around you to change. You are going to have to change.
And it's interesting because when we're children and we're learning a new experience, like riding a bike, and we stumble, we fall, we make mistakes and everything else. And yet we keep getting back on the bike and getting new information until we are able to accomplish that task. When we were talking about spiritual hygiene, this is what spiritual hygiene is to be able to go through your closet and go, well, I haven't worn that particular thing in about 10,000 years, so I'm going to give that away. Somebody else may be able to use it. Or every time I wear this, I feel very uncomfortable, so I'm going to let that go. It is not like you are refusing to wear anything. That would be interesting. but, but what I'm saying is changing and letting go is a natural sequence, and yet we hang on to it so strongly when we have not released self-doubt, self-fear, self lack of value. And these have been so inground that they're going to take a little bit more effort to eradicate, so we don't keep falling into those behaviors that lead us to behaviors that we would rather not have.
Yes. And you know, the saying goes, I know what I have, but I don't know what I can have because we don't really know the future. And that's where the fear
That's
is
right.
kicking in, right? So I
Yes.
know, okay, it's not too bad. I'm not over the top happy where I am, but I don't really know what I'm going to get. So therefore I stay where I am, right?
Yes. And every now and then, life will give you an opportunity to do something really great and grandeur, um, like your house burning down. And rather than rather than going, oh, what am I going to do? This is terrible. What is it? And everything else. I had always wanted a healing center, and I had put an indication on my mirror that someday my friend's husband, who is a contractor, would build me my castle, and I'd have all new furniture and all new furnishings. But I hadn't changed the address. Uh, the opportunity came up that the universe says, well, you need to have a bigger place so you can have your classes. And the best we can do is, you know, clean this place away so you can build a new place, which I did. And it's wonderful. I mean, I can now hold classes here. My house is twice the size it was. And rather than seeing that change as a negative, I realized that, and now I had not seen the present house because I still, all the limitations of insurances and everything else. But I allowed the universe to really do its thing. And everything was bigger and better. But had I lived in that, I'm not going to give this up. This is where I went and I can't this and everything else, and stubbornly holding on to old patterns, I would never, ever have seen what new patterns can create.
Exactly, because when we are envisioning something, this is what I would like, right? That's
Yeah,
where I want to go. When we
intention.
manifest it, yeah, it actually very rarely looks like we could imagine it from the beginning. And
Correct.
it's usually getting way better.
Mhm. And
And as far as manifestation, we do manifest all the time. So, what are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself that you are comfortable within your usual patterns? That's okay too.
that's
But
okay.
usually people want a change. And when you want to change, you need to take yourself out of there because something else as well, sorry. Um, you have to do that. You can have guidance from someone like Corinne, like myself, or someone else, right? You
Hmm.
can have guidance or even guides on the other side, but you still need to do the work. You need to take action.
Yes. Um, and what I've been noticing, and I think you have too, is um, so much of the population that is used to like self gratification and instant gratification, and have never learned that you have to put effort into something to make it happen. I mean, people are getting money just by showing their face on the camera, but when you really have to work at something and build it and create it or plant it and grow it, there is a knowledge that your energy, your
Yes.
effort is what makes the change. It doesn't happen instantaneously. And I think you also find that when we have suggestions for people and they'll say, oh, but I can't do that. Oh, well, but then I'd have to, and have all these excuses not to make the, as you said, the action. You have an intent, but the intent is not going to come to fruition unless there is an action. I can look at my garden forever and say, oh, well, I'm going to have peaches and I'm going to have this and everything else. But if I don't go out there and till the soil and plant the seeds, I'm still going to be looking at bare ground going, oh, well, I really would like to have a garden. So,
Yeah, exactly. And as you said, yeah, I heard a lot of people like that calling and saying, well, I already know all of those things, but
I
I
love
want
that
to
one.
know what you see for me. Yeah, well, I'm seeing if you are not changing your current situation, this is the likely outcome because we always talk about a likely and something else. Nothing is ever written in stone, but that is
Exactly.
powerful because that means that we can always stay in our power making the change and new choices, right? Nothing can stop us from that.
Yes.
Some things take a little bit longer time to manifest, other things go in an instant. That's kind of how it is, coming to terms with that. But there's no one can ever say that in a year from now you're going to sit in that position because you may change your mind during the journey within that year
Yes.
because you have free will and the power to change direction, and that is true power.
Exactly. And I find that one of the things that, um, because people don't understand real love, they have an illusion of love. But when you actually tell somebody, remember, you are loved, you are appreciated, and you are seen. As we walk our individual paths, our unique divine expression is ours alone, and yet we are all divinely connected. And most importantly, you are not alone. And
Yeah.
love is a vibration, not an emotion. And when you are surrounded by that vibration of love, then you start beginning to realize that there is so much more to who you are. And that's when you start getting these stirrings to, oh, I'm just gonna do that a little differently this time. And you
Yeah.
try it on. I mean, it's like riding a bike. You gotta get on and you fall down, you get on, you fall down, but eventually you zoom
I'm
away.
not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm just kidding you.
Yeah, not to the extent of my dear friend here, uh, but we're not
No,
gonna you're not gonna do references to bikes anymore. I apologize.
no,
Okay,
it's okay. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I know.
Because I can laugh about that. But you know,
Absolutely.
it is about realizing there's no such a thing as failure. Because as you said, kids try and they try until they manage. Sometimes there are certain things maybe very personally because we are unique. We're not very good at those things and we abandon them. That's okay
Uh-huh.
too, right? But we
Yeah,
keep trying until we come to some sort of realization. Either I'm going to manage that and it's going to be my thing, or I'm going to take another route. That's it.
yeah. Yes. I mean, if we look around the world at all of the amazing, marvelous things, if we all stayed in the same patterns and didn't try something a little differently, we wouldn't be blessed with all of the incredible, wonderful things that we do have that have been brought because somebody said, I'm going to do this a little differently. I'm going to try this. I'm going to experiment with that. And as we grow spiritually, this is the journey. It's not just go take a pill and all of a sudden you're this beautiful spiritual person. No, I think every person that is authentic in our profession has really walked the walk, talked the talk, felt the pain, gone through the ups and the downs, because that is what makes us the polished gem that we are. And not, I'm not you and you're not me. And I say thank goodness, because I think the world can only handle one of me. but 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 that's true. You're not copying something. You are finding your uniqueness and
Yeah,
making these subtle changes. You find a little bit of you that you didn't even know or that you had forgotten. And you take it out, you dust it off, you try it on, and then you make a little adjustments to it. That's
yeah,
the process. It is a
yeah.
process.
It is a process. Yeah, and working with yourself is a process and never a quick fix. It is also a catalyst for the greatest changes for the future, right? But it comes from you. You are doing it, and then you can be guided doing it. That's different. But also don't be afraid of encountering situations during your path because all of us are going to do that. All of us, including Corinne and myself, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Uh, we are not excluded from anything. But that is also a beautiful thing, actually, because we don't, yeah, well, let's rephrase that. Because I know you call it tenacious and I call it stubborn. I'm stubborn. Uh, that can be a very, very good thing when
Yes,
I'm doing something stubbornly that's going to bring me forward or digging in with myself or whatever it is. But
yes.
if I'm going to be stubborn holding on to something that is no longer for my highest good, that's going to bring me sadness, sorrow. And
Yes,
for each time I encounter something similar that want to remind me about that pattern of mine, that's going to feel harder. But it's not a punishment. It is an urge to awaken us, right?
yes. Yes. I mean, um, the Grand Canyon was made with a little river that over time created and created and changed and created and created and changed. And everything in our physical world that we see, it happened over time. It happened with little changes, sometimes big changes, sometimes changes that you were looking for, and sometimes changes that you weren't looking for. But it's that ability to adapt and that ability to know that there is something worth making these subtle changes and blessing what got you here and having the insight that it's leading you to something else and being able to allow the possibilities that there is something that you haven't quite grasped yet. And
Yes.
yes,
And to be frank, and this is interesting, we, none of us are exactly the same as 40 minutes ago when we started the show,
not at all.
because we are continuously transforming. Think about that. And nature,
Yes,
seasons in the nature, continuously transforming, changing all the time. It's a natural thing. But we are afraid many times because we don't know what's going to come. But we can't know what's going to come because the future is created by us in this now,
yes.
here and now.
And when the caterpillar faces the shift and becomes a cocoon, in reality, it looks like it's dying. But it doesn't go, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to me? It allows the process and then it emerges as something else. And because we have that intelligence, we have a resistance to uh, to doing the change. That's what's so beautiful about children. They're changing every second, but they're not going, oh, geez, I just grew a bone. Oh, I just have a new tooth. I mean, it's a process that they welcome in their becoming. And then we get stagnant and we say, okay, well, this is the way I am, and that's the way I'm going to be till the day I die. And that is really when we stop growing and we stop moving.
Yes.
And
And so, something else interesting here, and this is very common. I've heard this so many times, and I've done it in the past myself years ago. Well, I want my reality to change, and I don't want to change. You change. You change for me, right?
exactly. However, if you start emoting that onto other people and those people start changing, they're going to see some cracks in your veneer and they're going to go, eh, I've changed. I'm going to go this way. I'm not going to stay in that old pattern. So, it's change can only come from within, and it can only inspire others to either stay or leave, and that's a good thing, and not holding on so tight that there is no forward motion. And as you were saying, we're not the same people we were 40 minutes ago, because even
No,
though we put this program together, as we're speaking, the universe is giving us other information. And it's not like we read off a script. We have it there in words, but then the universe comes in and says, oh, well, we're going to tweak that. We're going to shift this. We're going to add that to it. And we go, whoa, this is great, because it becomes so much more than what we maybe just put on the page when we sat down and wrote this. And that's what I love about
exactly.
this. It's just, There, I'm getting goosebumps again. It's the
It has a life of
evolving.
its own. Yes.
Exactly. Yes.
And even if we find ourselves in a very stagnant or abusive situation, don't be afraid of asking for help. Maybe you need to ask for help to
Yes.
get yourself out of there, but everything is possible. I think that it's not like I'm old Aunt Berta, 150 years old, very positive. No, it's not. It's reality because we can. But sometimes we also need a hand to hold during the process, right?
That's right.
But just do it for yourself because you're worth it. Everybody's worth it. Everybody.
Yes. Um, every Wednesday, I mean, every Tuesday night, I have an open heart meditation, and it's a little unique because we don't come and sit and just say Om the whole time. You sit on beautiful couches, you cover yourself with a little blankie. And I tell people if you think you've gone to sleep, that's okay. And anybody that snores will blame it on the dog. So I want them in a receptive place because healers need to be healed. And I said, I'll do all the heavy lifting. But as they're there and allowing their energy to heal themselves, we had 7 people here last night, and each one of those persons, their open heart touched 1,000 people. 7,000 people were touched by the energy of love because 7 people got together and said, we're going to hold this energy.
Yeah.
And these are all incredible healers themselves. But we all need to have a place of reprieve. And we need to have that counsel. We need to be able to talk amongst ourselves and seeking coming in for a Reiki therapy. People will go and get their nails done every single week at $30 a pop, and they won't take 1 hour to come in and do their spiritual hygiene
Yeah.
because it
Exactly.
doesn't show. But
No, it
it
doesn't
does
show.
show. It shows more than you know.
And that's interesting. And we talk a lot about spiritual hygiene, right? Because we are showering, washing our hair, putting up makeup, thinking about how we dress, brushing our teeth, taking care of ourselves in a very surface manner, right?
Yes, yes,
But we are not taught how to take care of our energy, and we are energy. And I think that's very important to do. It becomes something natural, checking yourself. Am I off somewhere? Is it something going on? And it can feel like a roller coaster sometimes. We don't really know. We feel unsure, maybe. But the most important thing is that we do it, or we
yes,
go to someone to get a session to help with Reiki or whatever it is, right?
yes. And during the holidays, especially. But I carry with me these little cards that are a gift of 30 minutes to come in and have a reset. And when I observe unconditional love and kindness, when one person is giving this kindness to someone else, I notice those things. And then I will say, I saw and I felt what you did. And I want you to know that the universe is saying thank you. And they'll take this and they'll say, oh, I'll come when I need it. And I'm giving it to you because the universe is saying you need it.
Yeah.
And they will save that for when they think they need it, not realizing that if they take that 30 minutes or that hour or this, it is going to allow them to be so much more than what they could be. And
Exactly.
this is what, you know, the shift is all about too, is learning how to take care of the you that is you.
Yeah, exactly. And many of us have been taught that that's egoistical. It's not appropriate, but it is, because if I can't change other people, right? Because I can't, and I focus on working on myself in the best way I can and become the greatest version of myself, that's
Exactly.
going to bring ripple effects. So that's where the change comes in, right? That's
Yes.
beautiful. Well, I'm starting to get ready. Are
Is,
you?
is is that why I'm kind of squirming? Okay. All
I
right.
think it is.
Let's go. I really love hate this part of it.
Okay.
But no, I really do.
So
It really, I love this because you are allowing me to move forward. You're giving me the opportunity to really, okay, here we go.
here we go. So now we are placing Miss Karine here in the hot spot. And by the way, we have 5 simple questions about today's topic: breaking patterns, no more repeat. So it's not just for Karine and myself, it's for all of you. Ponder about them. But
Yes.
now I'm going to ask Miss Karine here. What is one pattern in your life you feel ready to release?
Okay. Uh, I'm going to have to regress on this a little bit, but this is something that has been a lifetime that I've been working with. Um, is the feeling of self-worth. And I was so worthless when I was a child that I had to really work hard to find any worth in my being. And although I have addressed it many times, and it's very happy in its new place, and I have released it, I still occasionally will go back and dust it off and say, how can I tweak this a little bit more? Because how you feel about yourself is how much you love yourself. And I do love what I have allowed the universe to shape me into. But we still have to go back every now and then and do some house cleaning. And it pops up every now and then, and I'm not even aware that it's there until I go, oh, that felt kind of familiar. Does it need to be dusted off again? And we will go and do that.
I love the way you express it, that you say dusting it off, because the thing is, the past cannot come into our lives unless we do invoke it again.
Exactly.
We do it. And we do it. We actually do it. Um, we are all working on things. And, releasing patterns means that it's a process of releasing patterns and things from your past. It doesn't mean you're going to erase all the memory from it. You're still going to have memories from it, but you're going to know when you don't repeat it. But for many, many times, and things that are coming from childhood, because we are very vulnerable as children, right?
Hmm.
And all these worldly conventions, as I call them, ideas, unwritten ideas. You're supposed to do that. You can't say that. You're a woman or you're a girl or whatever comes about. This is how you should behave. You can't ask that question. You should um, be seen but not heard. Whatever it is, right? Um, we need to acknowledge that sometimes it's coming back. It does,
Yes.
right? And it's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I don't know currently today. I don't know what I feel ready to release for myself, actually. So maybe I'm in a good place. It doesn't mean that I don't have stuff to work on, because I do. I sure do. Every one of us have, right?
It's a process, it's a process.
So when do you notice yourself slipping into familiar habits that no longer serve you?
Well, when I've noticed those, uh, it comes with a feeling of heaviness. It comes with um, I'm not making decisions as easily as I did. I'm questioning what decisions I make, and it's like there is a veil that comes over my intuition and comes over my ability to do things, and kind of a gut feeling. And fortunately, I'm very, 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 very fortunate that those come very rarely. But when they do, I recognize them as, oh my goodness, I feel a cold coming on. And so that's when I say, okay, what are you trying to, what are we working on this week? Not what are we trying to change, because I'm not broken, but what is it that needs to be dusted off and then repackaged? And so there again, it's like that spiritual hygiene. When it comes up and you notice it, you go, okay, we need to address this. It's not something that gets into you and then you have to go down the rabbit hole and then you have to take years trying to come out of the rabbit hole. It's like, oh, okay, we'll take care of that now, instead of putting
Yes.
it off and then having that cavity turn into a root canal. So we don't like root canals.
No, we don't. I can notice when I'm slipping into. First of all, I get a very strange feeling, right? And I can observe that I'm in a situation where I don't feel comfortable, right? So there's something off.
Yeah.
And usually it's my response. And sometimes we feel that we need to respond to things that we don't really need to respond to. So my way of managing that is to say that because I don't acknowledge it as me, I say that is not me. It doesn't belong to me.
That's a great way to do it. And there again, taking claim. I don't claim these things. I am aware of them. And
Yeah.
and that's a beautiful way of doing it, because when you claim it and then you say I am, then you've just created a problem. It's like,
Yeah.
as I go through life's challenges, and somebody will say, oh, well, you just had hand surgery, how terrible. No, I said, my hand is experiencing getting an uplift. I don't go, I have a hand problem that's being taken care of. So there again, it's how I address it. I don't claim it as part of, I've got to do this. It's
Exactly.
I'm aware.
Yeah. And sometimes we can find ourselves in situations, or I can find myself, but I think most people actually do find themselves in situations where we can say, it's not me, it's not mine. And we
Exactly.
can say that many times. It's rarely very effective to say it to someone. It's more effective to say it to yourself, because if you say it to
Absolutely.
someone, there you go. You're jumping with both feet into some kind of drama. And
Exactly.
that is unnecessary, right? So the important thing is that we become aware, and if we claim something or not. And when we come to that place, when we say, I had enough of this, I'm not going to do this any longer, stop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What's
So
the
how
next?
how How does it feel when you take even a small step in a new direction? That's beautiful.
I guess the when I was taking a lot of steps and at that point in my life where it was necessary in my growth to really be vigilantly more aware. Each time that I step in the direction I want to go, there is this sensation of peace and serenity and this ecstatic joy. And as I said, and even now I'm getting goosebumps because when I express how I feel when I make these little steps, it is like a rebirth, and it's refreshing and freedom and cleansing, and it's wonderful.
It is wonderful, and I can admit to what I said. I don't recommend jumping and screaming. Well, I didn't scream, but I have jumped many times in my life
Yes,
because I was stubborn enough to hold myself in a situation that kept coming back. And at the end, I said, I've had it, and I just chose a new direction. But I trusted. And each and every time, I don't recommend if you don't feel for it. You have to feel for it yourself and follow your own guidance.
yes,
But don't be afraid of listening to your guidance. And if we are not so stubborn and we listen from the beginning, it's not going to be that hard. It's easier,
yeah,
actually.
yes.
Yeah. So, what would your life look like if you trusted your intuition more often?
Okay, some of these questions I'm having a entanglement because I live so much already doing these things. But if I trusted my intuition more, um, I know that um, I would probably be a lot more less hesitant. I would probably already be walking around Greece, and because I would have intended my healing to be a lot faster, and I would have listened to my intuition and gotten things done earlier. Uh, but that's kind of like playing in the past and the what could. But at this very moment, if I were to trust my intuition more, I would just be me.
Yeah, and I think that's a beautiful thing because that's very courageous. It takes
Yeah,
courage, but it's also, walking along this path, encountering so many things. And sometimes we can feel that um, we who are actually sending out our intention that we want to grow ourselves and transition and transform
yeah,
and everything, we encounter more things than sometimes people usually do. But it's not punishment again. It is development, it's growth, it's
yep,
trying out things, it's meeting mirrors in your life because each and every situation is mirroring something within you, right? So without that, because as human beings, we are very convenient. If we are sliding through life without having any kind of blockages or things that are kind of road bumps on our path, we're not going to do anything about it, are we?
yes, that's correct. And unfortunately, I have been watching as a great deal of the population uh, are becoming zombies, and they are so programmed to not think and not have any kind of inspiration or follow intuition, that they are just attached to their mechanical things, and the mechanical things say, Well, if you put your face on the camera, you're going to get popular, and that's love. And if you do this, that's this. And they just literally, like the Matrix, they just are zombies. And they are losing their human potential.
Yeah. And now we can actually mention Greg Braden's book, Pure
Yes.
Human. That's very interesting. Greg Braden, Pure Human.
Yes.
Very fascinating because he's a scientist and he's very spiritual. And he's talking a lot about these things.
Yes.
So
And
that's
he brings both aspects in. It's not just a pipe dream. And I literally say this from the intuition that I have been given. And when we start on a path, we really never know where it's going, but there's always this kind of unknowing, knowing that we came here to do something that was so much bigger than ourselves. But it's always like out there, out there, out there. And I am constantly letting my students know that it is right now. We are on the cusp of losing our human divinity. And unless we take a stand, they have mathematically figured that with all the plans that are set in motion, literally laws set in motion to eliminate our human potential through adding this and adding that. And they've been doing this with food and water and everything else. It is now. It is not 50 years from now. It is by the year 2035 that they are hoping that 50% of the population is under this dome. So, folks, it's not tomorrow. It is now. It is now. Wake up now.
it is. Yeah, it is now. It's very, very important. So this is a beautiful question. Who or what inspires you to grow beyond your comfort zone?
Whew. Wow. I have a lot of, very inspired people, and Greg Braden's one of them. And then this beautiful Swedish Greek lady comes into my life, and she starts saying, why don't you put your words out there? Why don't you do this? You need to be heard. And I go, oh, no, that little self-doubt. And you have inspired me and encouraged me. And I radiate when I'm around you. And you inspire me to keep going beyond my comfort zone. All the work that I am doing with my spiritual hygiene is encouraged me to go beyond. And even though it could be a little scary, I am feeling so involved in this being of service that I will go beyond my comfort zone. There is no comfort zone anymore. I'm out there. Whoop, I'm out there.
Good, good. And the same comes from me because it's about also finding someone you feel in true alignment with. And I know that we are. It's not just something we say. We are cosmic sisters. We are.
Yes. Yes.
That's it. Because we have so many similarities, and this is something beautiful for everybody else to know as well. You can find that person you feel so much alignment with on the other side of the world. Don't hesitate. Get yourself out there.
Yes.
Find them.
And
Right?
if you don't find them, immediately, that's okay. They're still out there. They are giving you support whether you know it or not. You just haven't had a face-to-face yet. And we are being inspired. We are being inspired by many beautiful races that are holding space around our earth. as we do our thing, and they are giving us support. We're the, as my one student says, the boots on the ground, and we're the ones that have to do the get the job done. But they are holding that love. They are filling us with inspiration. They are filling us with intuition. They are filling us with the courage to go beyond our comfort zone.
Exactly. And I have another way of describing that. Because yes, we do support each other even if we haven't met face to face. And I call that being in each other's energy already, because we
Yes.
recognize each other. But once we are going to find each other, we're going to feel that very intensely,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
And
we
I
better
appreciate you.
we will warn the islands of Greece that there's going to be an earthquake, because yeah, the earth will shake.
And that will shake, I promise.
Yes.
So, my beautiful sister, are we wrapping this up today?
That sounds about like it, because I tell you, I think my buns have been well cooked. I-
So, find all past episodes and even upcoming at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming-past. Our next upcoming show next Wednesday on November 19th. And that's actually my great grandmother's birthday. That's a
wow.
special day for me. So, how beautiful. She's going to be with us, I know. And Cosmic Sis-Stars with Corinne and Anne are going to talk about awakening the sixth sense, a journey into psychic sensitivity. How about that? And again, you can find upcoming and past episodes at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming-past. And you find all our series at angelplaceonearth.com/series cosmic-guardians. And of course, you find all our episodes and series and everything at youtube.com/at angelplaceonearth/streams on YouTube. So again, you can connect with us, find Corinne and her phone number for her beautiful Tuesdays open heart meditation. And if you want to connect with her in any way, or me, read articles and more at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. And we will end this episode with a beautiful affirmation, because it's something we started to love to do.
Yes.
So the affirmation goes: I release the patterns that no longer serve me. Each choice I make opens the door to transformation, clarity, and authentic self-expression. I trust my inner wisdom to guide me toward new possibilities.
Wow. Beautifully said. Beautifully said.
And that's a wrap, beautiful souls.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for joining us on this radiant ride through breaking patterns, no more repeat. Today, we cracked open the cycles, honored the lessons, and lit the path toward transformation. Remember, every moment you choose differently, you shift your destiny. You are not your past. You are not your patterns. You are a cosmic force of love, wisdom, and infinite possibility. So take what resonated, let it root in your heart, and walk boldly into your next chapter. The universe is already rearranging itself in your favor. Until next time, stay luminous, stay true, and keep rising with infinite love, peace, and joy. We see you, we hear you, we honor you, we love you, we appreciate you from
Absolutely.
us.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you. Bye.
bye.